Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are wading into waters that are not just muddy, they are, I think, actively overflowing.
Oh, yeah. Overflowing is a good word for it.
You just can't open a browser tab, scroll through social media, or, even look at a new kitchen appliance without getting hit with those two letters, AI.
It's the defining buzzword of the decade,
Yeah.
for sure. And frankly, it's becoming a little bit suffocating.
Suffocating is exactly the right word. It feels like we're in this weird kind of duality. On one hand, you see these headlines about how AI is going to cure cancer and solve fusion energy and, I don't know, write the next great novel.
Right. The grand promises.
And then on the other hand, my so-called AI-powered washing machine still can't figure out that I don't want my sweaters boiled into nothing.
And that right there, that is the perfect way to describe the problem.
Yeah.
We are just conflating marketing hype with the technological reality.
Exactly. And that's what drives me crazy. We use the same word intelligence to describe a system that can beat a grandmaster at chess. And a system that tells me I should buy dog food because I bought a leash, 3 years ago? It's messy.
Very messy.
It's confusing, and honestly, I think it's dangerous because it just warps our expectations of what this stuff can do.
It absolutely does. I mean, if you don't understand the categories, you can't understand the capabilities, you end up trusting a system to do things it literally cannot do, or you end up fearing it for reasons that, don't even exist yet.
So that is our mission for today. We are going to take a scalpel to this whole topic. We've pulled a really foundational text on AI classification, a real heavy hitter that just strips away all that Silicon Valley sales pitch stuff. And we are going to use it to separate fact from fiction. We're breaking down the two core concepts everyone always mixes up: narrow AI and artificial general intelligence, or AGI.
And this is not just about semantics. This is the difference between the tool you have in your pocket and, the sci-fi entity that might be in your nightmares.
Okay, so set the stage for us. Give us the 30-second elevator pitch. What is the fundamental split here?
It really just comes down to scope. One is a specialist, the other is a generalist. One is the reality we are all living in today, that's narrow AI. The other is the horizon, the dream, the universal brain, that's AGI. And the gap between them is much, much wider than most people think.
Okay, let's start with the ground we're all standing on. The reality. Narrow AI. The name itself, it sounds a bit derogatory, doesn't it? Like it's somehow lesser intelligence.
It does sound that way, but narrow is really about the width of its expertise, not its power. The definition we're working with here is very specific. Narrow AI refers to systems designed to perform specific tasks extremely well, but, and this is key, only within a limited scope.
Limited scope, so that's the
Yeah.
guardrail.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Our research uses this analogy of a specialized tool. Let's say a high-precision industrial laser cutter.
Okay, I'm with you. A laser cutter is incredible. It can slice through steel with, microscopic accuracy. It's infinitely better at cutting steel than I am with a hacksaw.
Right. It's superhuman at that one specific task.
Yeah.
But, and this is the narrow part, what happens if you ask that same laser cutter to butter your toast?
I get a burnt kitchen and no breakfast.
Precisely. It doesn't know what toast is. It doesn't know what butter is. It doesn't even know what cutting is in a conceptual sense. It just executes a programmed set of instructions. It's a tool built to solve one type of problem.
So it's not a Swiss Army knife. It's a laser cutter.
Yes.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate here because that tool analogy, it feels a bit simple when we look at what's actually on my phone. When I use Siri or Alexa, that doesn't feel like a laser cutter. That feels like a conversation.
It feels like a conversation, and that is a testament to some amazing engineering. But let's look under the hood of those voice assistants. What are they actually doing? They're processing natural language, a very specific task, and connecting it to a command. Set a timer. Play this song.
But they can answer questions, right? Like, who won the World Series in 1996?
Sure, but that's information retrieval. It's just a fancy search engine with a voice on top of it. If you try to veer off that script, if you try to have a nuanced debate about the ethical implications of that World Series,
Yeah.
Win Siri just falls apart.
Yeah, you get, here's what I found on the web.
She gives you, here's what I found on the web. She hit the wall of her narrow scope. She hit the edge of her training data.
She isn't thinking, she's fetching.
Exactly. She's just fetching.
Okay, let's take another example from our reading that hits close to home for everybody. Entertainment, the recommendation algorithms, Netflix, YouTube, Spotify.
The engines of our addiction.
I'm serious. My YouTube feed knows me better than my therapist does. It's frighteningly accurate. Sometimes it predicts what I want to watch before I even know I want to watch it. How is that narrow? That feels like deep intuition.
It feels like intuition, but it's actually just high-volume math. It's pattern recognition on a massive, massive scale.
Yeah.
The system is looking at vectors, just points of data. User A watched X, Y, and Z. User B watched X and Y, so they will probably like Z. It doesn't understand why you like the video.
So it doesn't know that I'm watching 90s sitcom clips because I'm feeling nostalgic and a little sad. It just knows the pattern.
Correct. It has no model of human emotion or nostalgia. It just has a probability score. And here's the narrow trap. That same algorithm, which is an absolute genius at keeping you glued to the screen, is completely useless if you ask it to, say, drive a car.
It stays in its lane.
Literally. And speaking of lanes, self-driving cars are another great example of this misconception.
Okay, this is where I think the narrow label is the hardest to swallow. A self-driving car is navigating the physical world. It's making life or death decisions. It identifies pedestrians, stop signs, rain. That feels pretty broad.
It involves a lot of data, yes.
Yeah.
But the task is still singular. Navigate this vehicle from point A to point B safely. And the reason we know it's narrow AI is because of how brittle it is. You've heard the stories, right? A self-driving car getting confused by a plastic bag floating in the wind.
Yeah, slamming on the brakes because it thinks it's a rock or something.
A general intelligence knows it's just a bag. We understand physics, we understand wind, the texture of plastic. We have a world model. The car just sees a visual anomaly that matches the obstacle pattern in its database. It doesn't have common sense. It has a code book.
That distinction, world model versus code book, that feels huge.
It is everything. And we see this in the utility stuff too.
Yeah.
Spam filters, fraud detection. They're narrow because they're looking for very specific anomalies. They're just hyper-specialized watchdogs.
Okay, so I have to bring up the elephant in the room, the big one. The tech that kicked off this whole latest frenzy. Generative AI chatbots. You know, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini.
Large language models, yeah.
Right, because if we're being honest, this kind of breaks the hammer analogy for me. I can ask a chatbot to write me a poem, then code a Python script, then summarize a legal document, and then tell me a joke. That doesn't feel narrow at all. That feels pretty broad.
And this is where the confusion really peaks. You're right, it is general purpose, but it is not general intelligence.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Well, think about the mechanism. What is an LLM actually doing? It has ingested a massive amount of text, basically the whole internet. When you ask it a question, it is not thinking about the answer. It is predicting the next word in a sequence based on probability.
The old autocorrect on steroids line.
It's a bit reductive, but yes, essentially, it's just probabilistic determinism. It creates a sentence that looks like a sentence a human would write because it has seen billions of them. But does it know what it's saying?
It certainly feels like it does.
But it doesn't. If it hallucinates, if it makes up a court case that never existed, it doesn't feel shame, it doesn't realize it lied, it just followed a probability path that happened to lead to a falsehood. It has no concept of truth. It only has a concept of what word likely comes next.
So even though the output is diverse, you get text, code, poetry, the actual task is singular. Token prediction.
Exactly. It is a very, very sophisticated hammer, maybe a diamond-encrusted Swiss-engineered hammer. But it's still just hitting the predict next token nail over and over.
Okay, so let's pivot to what these systems are missing, because our research is pretty brutal on this point. It lists 3 specific things that narrow AI, even the really fancy chatbots, do not have.
Right. This is the checklist to keep in your back pocket when you start feeling like the robots are taking over. Narrow AI lacks self-awareness, emotion, and independent goals.
Independent goals is the one that really sticks with me.
It's crucial. Your Roomba has a directive. Clean the floor. It does not want the floor to be clean. It doesn't get satisfaction from a job well done. It doesn't wake up one morning and decide, you know what, screw the floor, I want to learn to play the violin.
Which is comforting, honestly. I don't really want my vacuum having an existential crisis in the hallway.
Exactly. But it also highlights the limitation. Narrow AI requires a human to set the goal. It is an optimizer, not an agent.
And this all leads to the idea of the knowledge transfer gap. This was a key point in our reading.
This is the definitive test, really. A human can learn to play chess. In doing so, they learn about strategy, sacrifice, timing, psychology. They can then take those concepts and apply them to a business negotiation or a military campaign. We transfer wisdom across different domains.
We connect the dots.
Right. But a narrow AI chess engine, it beats Magnus Carlsen every single time.
Yeah.
But if you try to teach that same software to play poker, which involves bluffing and hidden information, It can't do it. You have to rewrite the codes from scratch. It cannot transfer the concept of winning from one game to the other.
It's brilliant in the silo, but it's dumb in the hallway.
That's a perfect description.
So if that's the reality, if we are living in a world of really fast, really specific, kind of dumb savants, what's the dream? What is AGI?
Artificial general intelligence. This is the holy grail,
Ooh.
or Pandora's box, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Our research defines AGI as a system that can think, learn, and understand just like a human being.
Just like a human. That is a massive leap from predict the next word.
It's a canyon. To contrast with our specialized tool analogy, the text describes AGI as a universal brain.
A universal brain. Okay, so what can this universal brain do that my specialized tools can't?
It's all about versatility and adaptability. The research gives this hypothetical list of capabilities for a single AGI entity. It could solve a complex math theorem, write a compelling novel, diagnose a rare disease, drive a car through a chaotic city, teach a kindergarten class, and learn a new language.
And the key is that it's the same entity doing all of this, not 6 different apps.
Yes, not 6 apps on your phone. It is one mind.
The zero-shot concept comes in here, doesn't it?
Exactly. This is the ultimate test. If I drop a human being on a desert island, they have no training data for that specific island. But they look around, they see a coconut, they think, hard shell, maybe liquid inside, I need to smash it. They reason. They adapt to a completely new environment using general principles of physics and biology.
A narrow AI would just error out. Coconut wasn't in the database.
404 error, survival not found. And AGI would figure it out. It would understand context, cause and effect, and it would learn in real time without needing a software update from a developer.
So it's the difference between executing a script and actually thinking.
Yes. Reasoning versus processing. That's it.
But, and I feel like we need to shout this part from the rooftops, where are we on the timeline? Because if you listen to some of the podcasts out of Silicon Valley, AGI is arriving, next Tuesday.
The research is very, very clear on this. AGI does not currently exist.
It's theoretical.
It's a research goal. And frankly, there's a huge debate in the scientific community about whether we are even on the right path. Some people think if we just make the chatbots bigger and faster, they'll magically become AGI. Others think that's ridiculous.
You can't build a ladder to the moon.
Exactly. Just because you have a really, really tall ladder doesn't mean you have a rocket ship. Narrow AI is the ladder. AGI is the rocket.
So let's synthesize all this. We have the specialized tools of today versus the universal brain of the future. Why does this distinction matter so much to the person listening right now? Why should they care about the label?
It matters because of how we invest our time and our trust. Our source notes that while scientists are dreaming of AGI, the immediate focus, the work that's actually happening right now, is on mastering narrow AI.
Why, though? If AGI is the ultimate God mode, why waste time on the small stuff?
Because the small stuff runs the world. The source highlights that mastering narrow AI is about improving productivity and solving specific real-world problems now.
It's the pragmatic approach.
Think about medical imaging. An AI that can detect early-stage lung cancer from a CT scan with 99% accuracy is narrow. It can't write poetry, it can't drive a car, but it saves lives. We don't need it to be conscious, we just need it to be accurate.
We don't need a robot doctor that can hold our hand and ask about our day. We need a robot diagnostician that doesn't miss the tumor.
Exactly. And the danger comes when we confuse the two. If you treat a narrow AI like an AGI, if you trust a chatbot to give you life advice or legal counsel because it sounds human, you are setting yourself up for disaster. You're trusting a pattern-matching engine with your life.
It's like trying to use that laser cutter to butter your toast. It's just the wrong application of the technology.
And conversely, if you just dismiss narrow AI because it is an AGI, if you say, oh, it's just a stochastic parrot, it's not real intelligence, then you're missing out on the most powerful productivity tools ever invented.
Right. You're ignoring the steam engine because it isn't a nuclear reactor.
Precisely.
So this brings us to the so what. We've established AGI isn't here yet, and narrow AI is everywhere. The research ends with this sentiment that I really like. The future of AI starts with you.
It puts the agency back on the human.
I think that's the antidote to all the fear. We see these headlines about AI taking jobs, and it's easy to feel helpless. But if we reframe it...
If you reframe it as, these are specialized tools, then the question isn't, will the AI replace me? The question becomes, can I use this specialized tool better than the person next to me?
Right. The calculator didn't replace the mathematician, but the mathematician who refused to use a calculator probably got left behind.
Or the carpenter, who refused to use a power drill. We are currently standing in a hardware store full of the most advanced power tools in history. We have tools that can write code, generate art, sort data, detect fraud, but they're just sitting on the shelf.
And they have no independent goals. They're waiting for us to pick them up and give them a purpose.
They need a pilot. They need a craftsman.
So here's the thought I want to leave you with today. We spend so much time debating the universal brain that might arrive in 10 or 20 years,
Oh,
but are you actually maximizing the specialized tools you have in your hands right now?
are you treating your AI tools like a magic 8-ball, just expecting them to do the thinking for you? Or are you treating them like a laser cutter, guiding them with precision to do work that you couldn't do alone?
That's the challenge. Don't wait for the sci-fi movie. Be the master of the reality.
Sharpen your hammer.
Thank you all for listening to this deep dive. We hope this cleared up some of the fog.
Keep asking questions.
We'll see you in the next one.